Hey friends, Steve Guttenberg here. This is the Audiophiliac Daily Show. And before I get started today, I just want to thank everyone for the outpouring of love, there's no better way of describing it, for the recent Mrs. Audiophiliac video. It was so much fun to do and the response was fantastic. So thanks to everybody who commented, thanks to everybody who watched. It was a blast. Anyway, today's order of business is my favorite live recordings, but and well, you'll see where I'm going. But anyway, these are chosen on the basis of sound quality and music. Let's just say evenly. Let's just go for that. They have to do really well in both to be on this list. So the first one up is this one here, Neil Young Unplugged, MTV Unplugged. He was the perfect candidate for this. Acoustic. He loves acoustic music. He loves to rock out, but he's so good at acoustic. Actually, I think overall I prefer his acoustic side. And this CD or LP or whatever puts him in an amazingly, in a great light. It's just fantastic. If you never got into Neil Young for some reason, and for some reason you want to start now, this actually would be a great way in. But starting with Neil Young Unplugged, it made me think of other great MTV Unplugged albums. So the next one up was this one. Huge seller for Mr. Clapton, MTV Unplugged. And again, he's an electric guy, but he does acoustic really, really well. His voice is in great shape. I think his voice works better in acoustic setting than it does electric. Anyway, great record, and this actually comes as a CD or an LP or something. This is the DVD CD set. Next one up is this one, Paul McCartney Unplugged. You know, I love this record, but I don't think Paul McCartney loves this record because it's not always in print. I don't know if it's in print now physically. I don't even know if you can stream it. But it's a terrific recording, and to hear Paul McCartney, still relatively young, I guess this was in the 80s or 90s, his voice is in great shape, he's having a good time, and see, the key to this thing, he's playing to a small audience, a studio audience. So it's very intimate, and there's a lot of Beatles songs, he does a lot of his own songs, and it's great, and it sounds really, really good. Definitely the best recording ever of Paul McCartney's voice. The last MTV Unplugged one is this one. You guys know this one, Nirvana Unplugged. Now that one, who would have guessed that Nirvana would be great unplugged? But they are. It's not strictly all 100% unplugged, but in the context, it sort of works anyway. It's really, really good. I'm not the biggest Nirvana fan. This is my favorite Nirvana album. The songs are great. They do some David Bowie cover. Again, highly recommended for music and sound quality. This is a Storytellers series, right? Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson. Again, it works because it's so intimate, a small audience, and these two guys obviously know each other or knew each other a really long time. They're so comfortable together. They take turns who's playing the song, who's just following. Great, and their voices sound so good, sound quality wise. I am an audiophile, remember? I am. For their voices, for their choices of songs, it just flows. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous recording. I wasn't initially going to put this next one on the list, but you know what? It deserves it. So this is the Beatles live at the Hollywood Bowl. Now this is the soundtrack to the movie, to the Ron Howard movie, 8 Days a Week. And the thing is, this recording, the Hollywood Bowl stuff, came out, I don't remember, I guess in the 70s. The Beatles live at the Hollywood Bowl as an LP, as a capital release, an American thing. I don't know if it ever even came out in England. It's kind of weird. But anyway, I always liked that record because it's the Beatles at Beatlemania peak, and it wasn't a great recording. It wasn't, but it captured the energy really well. But this new version, not just merely remastered, but remixed and all kinds of new technology to make these old recordings sound better, well, they succeeded. It sounds way better than the Capitol version, and stunning considering the crudeness of the recording, and the girls are screaming so loud. They were louder than the band. It was very, very difficult recording conditions. But the end result is, this is the, if you want to hear the Beatles live on recording, officially, at least not a bootleg, this is your choice. So it's the best one. This is the best live Beatles recording. It's the only live Beatles recording. So the next one up, I don't have it to hold in my hand, but John Mayall's Turning Point. Now, John Mayall is a blues guy, British blues guitar player and producer and singer, and he's a good 7, 8, 9 years older than most of the classic rock guitar heroes of the 60s, right? He was much older than them. Anyway, but he discovered, he had in his band at various times Eric Clapton and Jimmy Page and Peter Green. All the biggies went through John Mayall's band. So if for no other reason, he was and is a force to be reckoned with. But this record is live at the Fillmore East. Turning Point is John Mayall Unplugged live at the Fillmore East in, I believe, 1969. Now that's amazing. So it's kind of like the first Unplugged band, but you know, it was at the height of electric guitar mania. So to hear this group in the Fillmore East, one of the best rock halls ever, this recording really captures the sound of the Fillmore, at least as I remember it. The vibe of the place, the acoustics of the place. Music is really good. He's into changing chorus, going from electric to acoustic at this moment, and many people followed suit, and highly, highly recommend. Skipping much further forward in time is Jeff Buckley live at Sine. Now, Sine was this tiny, tiny club, held maybe 60 people in the East Village, and I used to go there all the time. I loved it. First of all, it was free. You just had to buy coffee or tea or something. It wasn't even a bar. And you could just sit there for hours and watch people, you know, local people play, and sometimes sort of famous people play. And Jeff Buckley at this point was not famous, but he was the son of Tim Buckley, who was a famous guy from the 60s. So he had some notoriety. Anyway, he played a gig there. They recorded it. It sounds amazing. He's so relaxed, and it isn't acoustic. He's playing electric guitar, but he's just solo electric guitar. And sometimes he's mostly singing and the guitar is just there, but sometimes his guitar playing is absolutely incredible. He died very young. So the next one up is not strictly a live recording. It's the Cowboy Junkies Trinity sessions. It's live in the sense that it's live to 2-track. It was recorded in a church, kind of like an audiophile style recording, but they make no claims to being an audiophile recording. It was recorded with a Calrac microphone, as far as I can recall, and you know, it's a rock band playing electric music, and it works amazingly well. So yeah, it's not live, but it sort of fits. So obviously this list is not intended to be complete. This is my version of best live albums, so feel free to chime in with your favorite live records. Obviously, please do in the comments, but these are my choices. So yes, I cannot leave off by, everyone's probably screaming at their screen right now, the older people at least, Allman Brothers live at the Fillmore East. Now that record is, again, just sort of sets the standard for rock record in a live venue in that time period. You feel the Fillmore East's presence in this recording. Had to be on this list. And also, not a great recording, yeah, but I had to do it anyway because the music is just over the top amazing. The Who live at Leeds. Now, just the freedom of that album, just the way they just expand those songs. You know, their studio albums are very tightly controlled and put together, but the live stuff, Pete Townshend's guitar, John Entwistle's bass, Keith Moon's wild, crazy drumming, and they're all looking for your attention. You know, they're all just turn it up to 11, everybody in the band, and of course Roger Daltrey on vocals. Just off the charts in terms of set a standard for hard rock recording of this period, about 1970 or so. To finish off, I had to include this live Procol Harum album, live with the Edmonton Symphony Orchestra and Choir. Now, the thing about, I'm a huge Procol Harum fan, but this was such a massive undertaking to record a rock band with a symphony orchestra and a large choir all in one day. It was a very expensive session to put together, so they couldn't just spread it out like people do over weeks and months and years sometimes. No, this was a one-day thing of this huge... It was a one-day shot to do something very difficult and complex and make it all work. And to balance a rock band with an orchestra, it had never been, I don't think it had been done before, and certainly hadn't been done as beautifully in terms of the mix and making it actually work. It wasn't, they didn't sound like they were uptight or hard, like, oh, they were under pressure to make this thing work. Procol Harum just like fit right in with the orchestra. It fit their music well. It wasn't just patched on. You know, it all worked. And I love that record. It is in spite of all the obstacles that were in their way to make that record in one day, it just works. So if you're into Procol Harum at all, you might know them from their biggest hit, A Whiter Shade of Pale, which they don't do on this record. I would highly recommend checking out this album. So that's it. I'm good. I'm done. Please, I want to hear your best rock albums, and I'll probably do a live jazz albums of all time, but this is pretty much rock. And we're good, right? My name is Steve Guttenberg. This is the Audiophiliac Daily Show. If you dig it, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you already have subscribed, thank you so much for subscribing. You should check out my Patreon, which can be found at patreon.com/audiophiliac. If you can't write it down, I got you covered. There's a link directly below. While you're here, check out the playlist. There's playlists for lots of music reviews, by the way. Not just, this is not a rare occurrence here on this channel. There's playlists for speaker reviews and headphone reviews and amplifier reviews and tons of interviews, and you know the drill, right? So check them out. But now I can say my work here is at last complete. Thank you so much for watching, and I really do hope to see you back here again very, very soon. Bye-bye.